If you were an indie fan in the 90s and early 2000s and you liked the maybe more eclectic, um, slightly experimental paths that indie music could get into, you probably will fondly remember the group Stereolab. After a 15-year hiatus, they are back now with a brand new album. So is the old magic still at work, or have they run out of ideas in the Stereolab? I'm here to find out in this fresh review. Stereolab always have been a band known for their great emphasis on style, texture, but also design. If you look at their record sleeves and cover artworks. And this ran through from, well, the cover artwork to, of course, the music and the architecture of their albums. They blended a kind of very unique retro-futuristic sound using old analog synthesizers, and they blended that with a bit of 60s psychedelia, but also 60s cocktail lounge easy listening sounds, a French pop from the 60s, and 90s indie rock, as well as sometimes very droning, almost monotonous, but also fascinating elements from German krautrock of the late 60s and early 70s. After losing one of their vocalists and the guitarist in a tragic, I think it was a traffic accident, the band still released a couple of albums, but then went on hiatus, as mentioned, a break that has lasted for 15 years. And they've come back last year with a new album called, and that also is a trademark of Stereolab, the strange album titles that are really hard to memorize. Instant Holograms on Metal Film. This album has been out since, I think, the summer of last year, so it's a couple of months old, but still younger than 1 year, so I still consider this a fresh review of a very current release. So with the tragic loss of Mary Hansen, 3 of the core of the founding members are still left. Andy Ramsey, but most of all, the masterminds behind Stereolab, the couple of Laetitia Sadier and Tim Gain. And of course, we get a lot of additional musicians on this album, which is also quite common, at least since the later 90s, when Stereolab started to incorporate more jazz instrumentation, but also more electronics into their sound. As can be seen, the band, as has always been the case, again uses a sort of very retro, but strangely modern looking style of design, or maybe even a collage technique maybe, and especially the design of letters that runs through all of the most of the Stereolab album artworks. And the music also, at least if you are familiar with Stereolab, immediately brings back that typical Stereolab brew of sounds. We start with the track mystical plosives, which is actually just a very short instrumental intro track. It consists of a great attention-grabbing synthesizer sequence, a motif created by a couple of sequences, I would say. It sounds like something you would have heard on, yeah, electronic albums from the 70s or maybe early 80s. Just a couple of cascading synthesizer lines. But I think this is a very powerful and, yeah, as I've said, quite attention grabbing intro. The first proper song, Aerial Troubles, starts slowly, almost has a kind of lamenting start, but quickly changes into the typical Stereolab sound, at least the typical Stereolab sound since the later 90s. Stereolab actually started as a quite droning, krautrock influenced and rather noisy group, but then their sound became more and more elegant and more colorful, and that's what you also get on most tracks of Instant Holograms on Metal Film. So after a slow, a bit melancholic start, we get all the trademarks from the Stereolab studio or think tank, which means old analog synthesizers and keyboards as well as organ sounds, and the often overlapping, quite intricate vocals that change between singers and also change between English and French, also something that is very distinct for Stereolab. The lyrics often are more or less abstract, philosophical. Some seem to be very politically charged, but always remain a bit oblique and are presented in rather meandering but strangely catchy melodies. Aerial Troubles is a surprisingly concise track for Stereolab, dealing with the greedy mindset of our times and a hope for a better future. The third track bears the interesting title Melody is a Wound. We hear soft electronic beats in a kind of indie, easy listening music, which is all very elegant. There are rather political lyrics about oppression and the skewing of truth, as well as the cultivation of ignorance and hate. The structure of the song returns to another trademark of Stereolab, namely loose multi-part tracks, where as a listener you often cannot be sure whether one section is still part of the track or whether already the next song has started. The second half of this track has got droll synth sounds. It is more up-tempo and entirely instrumental. And overall, I would say it's a great new Stereolab track. The following Immortal Hands again starts rather slowly and a bit melancholic in sound. There are a lot of minor chords. It almost creates the feeling of a kind of fairy tale ballad. But then xylophone and drums join and create a soft psychedelic sound. The lyrics are almost meditative. Halfway through, There's a more electronic break joined by horns and flutes, which is a very interesting contrast or sound combination, in my opinion. But overall, the song always stays in the band's modernistic retro sound style. Yeah, this is a very beautiful track. Then we get to a track called Vermona F Transistor. This one has got a dreamy, tranquil start, only to again become more up-tempo later on. Laetitia Sadier's gentle vocals and her phrasing sometimes make it almost impossible to distinguish whether she's singing in English or in French, lending the whole affair an even more dreamlike atmosphere or quality. And yeah, this style of singing, which almost is an additional instrument sometimes, becomes an important part of the Stereolab sound. Also on this album, the song has that very strong krautrock meets 60s French pop feel that we sometimes get from the group. Philosophical lyrics meet a breezy and upbeat sound, especially in the second half. So very often we've got songs that start off a bit slow or melancholic, and then change into quite upbeat sounding music. Track number 6 has a French title, Le Coeur et la Force, the heart and the force, or the heart and the power. It's sung entirely in French, if I remember correctly, or at least mostly in French. Though overall, we've got less French lyrics on this album than on other Stereolab albums. Again, there are intertwined, dreamy vocals that evoke some sort of psychedelic sunshine pop. The wind instruments that I've mentioned, flutes, but I think also other woodwinds and sometimes also horns, add a special color to the music. And make what you will of lyrics such as "from the same heart, from the same force, our intentions are sent to the universe." After this, there's an instrumental break in the form of the track Electrified Teeny Bop. This is a very cool instrumental, again strongly influenced by the more electronic aspects of krautrock, I would say. Again, we've got those synthesizer sequences, but at the same time also a very poppy feel to the sound. Maybe this is just meant as an intermission, but it is a welcome and intriguing up-tempo track. I actually like this one quite a lot. Transmuted Matter features more transcendental or spiritual lyrics embedded in an elegantly floating, spacey cocktail lounge pop song. There's a nice guitar lick in there, and again, at 4 minutes, this is for Stereolab quite concise, straightforward track. Also, the next number, and I can't even decipher this from my notes in front of me, so I'll have to look at the CD cover. SM Plastic Creeping Eruption, great title again, continues in this vein. It is slightly dreamy, it is strangely modern and simultaneously nostalgic, and the arrangements are always a little bit tricky. Still, this is maybe not the most memorable track, yet in the second half, a more distorted guitar provides a bit of a more muscular foundation for Laetitia Sadier to repeat the lyrics, it's dark. And this more driving rock sound, at least comparatively in terms of Stereolab, is something quite nice to hear for a change on this album. And yeah, it adds a portion of coolness to the music. Track number 10 then is called If You Remember, I Forgot How to Dream, Part 1. This is almost the easygoing pop song of the album, clogging in at 3 minutes and 41 seconds. It's an appeal to see the unity of mankind and that we are all sort of connected in the human condition, disguised as an airy, upbeat indie pop track. This is followed by flashes from everywhere. The distinctive feature of this track for me is its really beautiful, hypnotic, and repetitive flute motif. It's a very floaty and laid back song despite steady drums. And yeah, this is another good tune on the album. Which leaves us with only two more tracks. Color Television, again, Retromania in the title alone. This is a more subdued indie pop track. It's comparatively unremarkable, I have to say. Still a nice track, but not a very memorable one, at least not for me. Based on the title, I was hoping for something maybe a little bit more electronic, but yeah, we don't get it here. And the album then closes with If You Remember, I Forgot How to Dream, Part 2. And this is, yeah, like a little add-on. It features those early old-fashioned electronica sounds. So it's kind of more electronic continuation of the Part 1 track, featuring lyrics like power to choose, wisdom, faith, courage are necessary. Wise words indeed to close off the album Instant Holograms on metal film. So to conclude, this album brings back all the latter-day elements of Stereolab. The playful architecture of the group's songs maybe isn't as surprising and intricate anymore as on former albums. Think of Dots and Loops, for example, or Margarine Eclipse, or Sound Dust. And maybe some of the songs sound a little bit samey. Also, possibly the sheer joy of meeting an old acquaintance again plays into my experience of this album a little bit. But on the whole, Instant Holograms on metal films is a very, very fine album and a musically very enjoyable return of what I would call a really, really unique band. So this album for me is an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Those were my 2 cents on this latest release by Stereolab. Let's hope more music like this will be produced in the future, not by holograms, but from live musicians. And now, it's your turn.